Let's talk about social media and being part of the image gang. You know, being in vogue, being everything that you see on Instagram and living up to that. Alright, so my thing is about this nonsense because this it's really easy to be consumed by what you see on social media and how people portray themselves and what they have, and it's very easy to be influenced by that in some way, shape or form. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a materialistic way, but it can definitely end up being in a shallow way, especially when you see people on their relationship goals. Oh my god, you start to want that. Then if their partner's really good looking and you start to want someone that's really good looking like that, and that's like, I want someone good looking like that. And when they take nice pictures together, oh my god, I want to take nice pictures like that with my partner. And look, it could, social media is a fucking devil, you know. Like, it's very easy to be consumed by that because I've definitely been consumed by it, and it's definitely filtrated through my qualities and people and what I aspire in certain aspects of myself and what I want, and I've seen men that I like, I'll look at and like, still not idolize, I guess in a certain way what I used to idolize. I wish I looked like this, I wish I had this, I wish I did this. And then if people are achieving so much on social media and you haven't achieved that and they're way younger than you, it's like, oh my god, look at me, I feel like a failure because they've done this, they're doing this, they're doing this person's doing big thing, oh my god, how are they getting this, like, and look at me here, look at the car they have and look at the car I have. You start comparing and you start putting what's nothing to do with you into your life, not knowing how people get that stuff in the first place, and not knowing that a lot of this is a facade. Like, a lot of people do the most just for social media, just for status purposes, and they don't have that. A lot of people are renting cars, are renting houses, are doing the most just to maintain a certain status, just to maintain a certain image, which makes you us. This makes us feel like we're not worthy enough, like we're not doing enough, and it feeds into loads of insecurities. And then when you're dating, that definitely plays a big part, because there's so much people in this dating world that's so shallow, superficial, materialistic. Like, they look at everything else but you. And I've definitely done that. Even down to when I say, like, I look at a man, you can always judge a man by his trainers. So I look down then up. And it's such a bad habit. Oh my god, it's awful. But I think, for me personally, I can't justify it anyone else. It's just because trainers are like my thing. Footwear is like my thing. I love a nice trainer, and I always think that when someone's got a nice trainer on, then they've got a little bit of style. I don't know, I just a little bit. I like it. Like, there's certain things that I like, you know, and I think that's just one thing I like. But one thing that I was wrong in doing was a lot of the time dismissing or getting turned off or laughing, and just that was a superficial, materialistic, shallow trait that I possess through social media as well. Because I wasn't brought up like that. I went to school where I had Adore, I had US Brass. Like, everyone had Nike, everyone had Adidas. I never had that. Or we went to the in-shop, Stratford in-shop. For you lot that's overseas, Stratford is just like this area in East London, and the in-shop is like an inside mall. Like a, I can't describe it. It's just, it's not, there's no name brands in shop. I mean, there's a few expensive little boutique places, maybe one or two, but it's not name brands. You're not going to find Givenchy and all that rubbish. You're not going to even find Nike and Adidas. I tell you that I had Adore trainers, Adidas, Adore. Oh my god, what I used to aspire for when I was younger was NSC, and now now it's all different. But that was a simple life. I wasn't brought up like that. I was brought up with, you should just be grateful for what you have. You should just, if you need this, then you go and go. Then there should be no problem in going to Price or Less or Shoe Zone. And that's how I was brought up. Like, I wasn't brought up wearing the latest of anything. I was brought up with necessities. I had everything I needed, and that was okay. I remember I drove. My dad went to prison one time, and I got his car, and it was a Toyota Carina, and it was an old Toyota Carina. I mean, like, this was probably 1986. It was really old. I don't think it was that old, to be honest. I know it was like in, was it an E-Reg? It was so old, and I was 18, right? Meaning, there's a motto to what I'm saying, you guys. As of now, it's so different going from that to now what I would want, if you know what I mean. And that's what I look at myself when I was younger. It wasn't even that long ago. Not we're talking about when it was like ages ago. A good 10 years ago, I never really cared about anything. Like, nothing. I was just happy. I drove. That was it. Like, my first car was a Ford Fiesta, and I got it for £180, and I was fantastic with it. Like, I didn't, it was an old, I didn't care what it was. I was just happy that I wanted the car, and I went and got it. If I needed trainers, then they wouldn't have been the hottest trainers. It would have been something that I would have been decent at the time. I used to stay in this zone of things that, like, it wasn't shabby, but it was decent. If I needed this, I needed this. I think the most expensive thing I had at a time was a hoodie that I bought, and I treated myself. It was like a shot hoodie. I don't even know if anyone knows of that make anymore. Like, it used to be really popular, but it's not that much popular anymore. But it was £50, and that was £50 hoodie was like expensive to me, and I was working 7 days a week. I used to go to Top Man. I used to get these shoes, but these shoes weren't expensive at all. They were like £30, and I got them in all different colours, and I was happy. I went to River Island. I used to buy plimsolls. It's so funny how I've upgraded myself, and in between then to now, to how I am now, that middle area of me growing progressing and evolving into the man that I am now, there was a lot of things I did for everyone else for a huge amount of my life. There was a lot of things I did just for everyone else, and it didn't become about me anymore. It became about what people liked. So I tried to do what people like. I started in college, and then when I started working, I left college and I started working. I didn't have that mentality because it was just about work, and when I wasn't at work, I would be shopping, and it was for myself because I wasn't around people. I wasn't dating. I didn't need to impress anyone, and it actually was probably the best few years of my life, to be honest. When I was working that much in HMV for like 2 years, I was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and I did not. And when I was off, the one day I had, I would shop. I would go Central London. I would shop. I would take myself to eat, go home, and that was it. And it's so funny how as soon as social media started, as soon as I put myself into dating, that's when all these expectations and everything came up. It's very, very, very hard to not be consumed by society and what people want, and wanting to, and there's an element of you that wants to impress people because you think it makes you almost feel like if you do that, and if you live that way of life, and if you believe that and you feed into it, it's kind of a better life for you. Like, you're going to have a better life. But what kind of life is that provide and be materialistic and shallow, arrogant, cocky, and what are you living for with people that you don't even know? Like, why do you need to care about what anyone thinks, what anyone does? Like, if I wanted to go and get a banger right now, why would that benefit anyone else? How does that level what I'm doing in life, what I've achieved in life? How does things measure what you achieve? Because there's a lot of people living an amazing lives in amazing apartments, and they're I'm not going to sound, I don't want to say they're nobody, but they're very average people. They just work for what they want, and it's because that's what they want, not because they're trying to fit into this image of you have to have this, you have to have this, you have. Who says you have to have anything by a certain age? Who says you have to have that? I would like to know what rule there was saying you have to do this, you have to achieve all of this by a certain age. I used to put so much pressure on myself with that, and I was never happy. So I had to take myself back and be like, you know what, I will do this in my own time. Right now I'm going to concentrate on this, and I'm going to do this, and I'm just going to live my life. Why? We judge people and we judge things. It's so easy to judge and judge without taking yourself back and asking yourself, why are you judging that person? Why are you judging them because they haven't got this, because they haven't done this, because they haven't got this? Who needs to have anything together by a certain age? Are you God? And there's no rule against it. And it's what you should expect in someone. Like, who are you to even expect that in someone to have this together by a certain age? If people don't have shit together, then they don't have shit together. If you're not going to influence them and help them in the ways that they can get their shit together, then shut your mouth. That is exactly what I need to learn, because I used to be like that, man. Oh my God, it's so disgusting. How can he not do this? How can he not do this? How can he not do this? If I'm not going to do anything to help it, why am I talking? It's not my business. I need to concentrate on what I need to do. I need to concentrate and live on my life. That's his life. That's their life. That's her life. That's her life. And who are you to judge, or who are you to put anyone down and make anyone feel like they've not achieved a certain amount of success just because that's what you see? If you're not going to be there, then shut up. And it's so funny because when people are telling you certain things that you haven't done, or why haven't you achieved this, or why aren't you going this place, or you should be doing this by now, or didn't do this by now, you get really agitated, you get really annoyed. But it's so easy for you to pass judgment on that. And it's so funny because I've definitely dismissed a few people because of stuff like that, when I probably wasn't even in a position to in the first place. It's all about the mind. That's what you should find attractive. You should go inside, then throughout. And that is what I did with my last relationship. I thought I stripped down everything of what I knew, and I went inside and out. And I learned to love the person from inside and out. That's why I probably tolerated more than I should have. But if I was going on face value, oh my God, fucking hell, I would never have went there. I would have never went to a lot of people, actually. But, you know, so such is life. And you learn and you live, don't you? But it's the truth, though. Like, don't allow anyone to ever make you think that your journey or whatever you're on is not enough, or you haven't achieved this, or you haven't done this, and why haven't you done that, and it making you feel like you're any less of a person just because social media is like this, and just because that person has that, just because that they have that. That's not your business that they have that. Is there a difference between you having a 2017 car and you having a 1989 car? There's no difference. It still does the same thing. Don't allow anyone to make you feel like just because you see this life that they portray and that they have, that it should impact you in yourself in any way, shape or form. If anything, if it makes you want to do better for yourself, then fantastic. But don't be too harsh on yourself, because you don't know how people got to those places in the first place, and you don't know what they have and what is authentic and what is genuine, because it's only through pictures. You can only judge so much. Everything can look perfect from face value when you look at a picture. Everything. Everyone could look like they're having themselves together. How do you know that's not their mum's car? That's not their dad's car? How do you know every time you're seeing them flossed out that it's not stuff that they stole, that they got on the cheap, that they got dodgy anyway? How do you even know that it's authentic and real? And even if it is authentic and real, how do you know they're not in a huge amount of debt on plenty of credit cards just to get what you see so they can take a picture? And now you feel bad because you're judging someone on something, and then you're judging yourself more so that you're not where you need to be because this person has all of this and you haven't got it together at a certain age. You don't need to have anything together at a certain age. That's stuff that we need to put on ourselves as goals. We need to put that on ourselves. And even if you haven't, you need to look at your progress, because everyone is a success in my eyes. We all are on a journey, and we've all come from something, and we're all better people. So you can look at yourself now, and there's definitely something that's different within you that was different last year and a year before and a year before. But if you don't self-analyze yourself and appreciate who you are, and what you have right now, it's very hard for you to be able to acknowledge your journey from a certain point to now this point. And you can't allow social media or people around you to make you feel any less of a person that you are, because you're on your own journey. There's people that have, do you know, there's happy people that have won the lottery? Ugh. People that have been cleaners for years, people that have been cashiers in Tesco for 20, 30, 50, 40 years, and I'm sure people look down at them, but they still didn't care about social media. They're still happy in their one job and happy in their position, and who are you to tell them not? If someone's comfortable in a certain position, who are you to tell them that they're not doing enough for themselves? Who are you to say that? You don't know what they're doing. And then that's what I said, unless you're willing to be in their life and change it, then how can we judge? We have no right to judge at all. None. Absolutely none. And it's heavily on social media that does a lot of that. It really does a lot of that. Because there was times in my life before a certain point that I never judged. I was just living. That was it. Then I got to this life and I just became bitchy and catty and shallow, materialistic, and now it's just whatever. I don't care. Like, I just don't care about anything. I feel like I've gotten back to how I was before a certain point. Like, it's just about me now. That's all I do. What you're doing is what you're doing. I check in on people I love now and again, and that's that. I live my life. Like, if I want something, I want it for myself. I imagine it with certain outfits. I imagine what I'm going to wear, how I'm going to wear this, how I'm going to wear that. That's what my life is consumed by, for myself. Not for, oh my God, if this person sees me like this, they're going to, yes, if I'm doing this, yes, I'm going to do this, so that person's going to look, yes, if I've got this, now I'm going to attract this person's attention. Now, I don't give a fuck, because people like that you don't need in your life. You need to acknowledge the fact that sometimes just who you are and how you are, and you may not see it, but everyone is an inspiration. Whether it be your confidence, whether it be the way you conduct yourself, whether it be the way you speak, whether it be the way your hair is, there's always something that someone admires about you. There's always something in everybody that someone else wants, and you need to learn to be satisfied and content with what you are. The person that you need to want should be here. And if you want things in somebody else, you need to look more skin deep, because that is only when you find something authentic. When you get to know someone, when you allow yourself to be vulnerable and you get to know someone on their level, that is when you know if they seriously have traits. People don't look around anymore to see if people are wifey and husband material. They don't look at those type of qualities like, oh, do you cook? If you don't cook, and okay, that's fine. It shouldn't be a big thing if someone cooks or not. I mean, are you disabled? People can learn things like that. How does someone make you feel? Forget what they have, forget what they don't have, forget. How does someone make you feel? That's the most important thing. We're so blinded by things that don't matter that it's so hard to see what is important, and those things are what's actually important. I want someone to look into my eyes and read me, read what's in here. And for me to be like, I mean, it's happened. I had someone completely look in my inside and construct me inside out. They never saw body. They don't see what people see. They never saw nothing here. They didn't see me. They saw inside and outside. And I tell you, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever had, because it's like someone is getting to know Junior. It's not what they see or what I have or how I portray myself or the way I dance or all these things that people pinpoint that they find in their mind sexy. The most sexiest trait I feel like someone could have is intelligence. Oh my God, you cannot buy that. Common sense, sense of humor, a sense of humanity, like someone who can be like a humanitarian, who wants more for the world, someone who sees more for themselves, someone who is determined to like achieve a certain goal, but within self. Like if someone wants their business, so they're making steps to make that happen. I find that so beautiful when they're really determined in doing that and they start progressing and you can see the progression. But yeah, I don't have a right to tell someone you should be doing more. Like, you're under, who am I to even say you're under my standards? You're physically, I can't, you can say that only for so much. When people say don't settle, I think they take it out of context. Like, a lot of people make it materialize things, like, oh, you better have a car and you better have this, but that is definitely, that's not settling, that's just being dumb. You can't expect someone to have all of that. Like, who are you to even expect that just because you have it? And so those are things, it's not saying it's not achievable. Someone can work 1 month, have their own place, have a car, and what? Like, it doesn't make sense. Gosh, some people just their minds are somewhere else, and you can't tell someone their own journey. But what you should be looking for when you say I shouldn't settle is for how someone treats you. Are they disrespectful? How they make you feel? Do they put you first? You know? Is there someone that you can look into their eyes and be like, I can see this. I can see you being my man. I can see you being my husband. I can see you being my wife. Like, how that is not settling. I mean, if they don't provide things that make you feel content with being with them inside, feelings, not things, feelings, right? Then that should be the deciding factor, whether or not you're settling or not. So just don't be consumed by what people have and what society makes you feel like you should have or where you should be, because none of that stuff matters when you're dead and gone, boy. Leaving a legacy should be more than money. I was watching something and these two famous men that died, they were best friends, and they were famous. I can't remember what their names were, I can't remember now, but when people were talking about them, it's how they made them feel. It's not what they achieved. It's like, yes, they were famous, but it's what they brought together, how they were as people. Like, no one knows, no one cares about the mansions that they left, or the cars they left, or the money they left. That's not a legacy. That's not, in my eyes, leaving a legacy. Who cares about that? Like, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. When you're dead, who cares about that? It's what allows your soul to live on is how you treat people. What good things people have to say about you. How loved you made people feel. How you inspired people by just being yourself. That is leaving a legacy. All this image stuff and looking good, and that should just be for self, to be honest. Some people just do the most, and so because they're like that, they judge everyone else, and you have to look like that. No! Oh my god, why do I want someone that looks like me? I don't want that. I can't learn anything from someone that's exactly like me. Like, that's where you have best friends. Like, oh my god, why would you want your partner to be exactly like you? Like, I don't understand why you would want that. It's not attractive. What can you learn? Nothing. So, right, a little element of someone who's opposite in a way, but where you're similar, where you do get each other. The similarity is where you get each other, but you're still opposite in so many ways. That is when you can learn something from somebody. That is sexy to me, actually. I'm good. I like this video.